Once upon a time, there was a little promotion in Philadelphia called Eastern Championship Wrestling. Eastern Championship Wrestling was founded in New York by Todd Gordon in 1992. However, in 1993, a man called Paul Heyman took over ECW and made it a bit mad. He completely turned ECW style upside down and then made it Extreme Championship Wrestling, also known as Hardcore Wrestling. With Paul Heyman now in charge, ECW was certainly a very different promotion and started to utilise weapons and hardcore matches with items such as barbed wire, fire, barbed wire on fire, tables, ladders, chairs, scaffolding, thumbtacks, wrestling. They say all things come to an end, and unfortunately the same fate happened for ECW as it went defunct in 2001. In 2004, a straight-to-DVD documentary was released called The Rise and Fall of ECW. Basically, it was a documentary on how ECW came about and some experiences that they had, their highs and lows, and how they eventually went defunct. I actually have the DVD. Look, there's the spine, there's the front, there's the back, there's the inside. Lovely. A very, very good documentary, and it actually was one of WWE's most sold DVDs of 2004. WWE were so glad with the DVD sales that they held a show called Ecw One Night Stand 2005. It was basically like a school reunion, except instead of school reunions where you go meet your friends and tell them that you've got wives and kids and all that, they spent like 2.5 hours bashing each other over the head with chairs, thumbtacks, fire, and barbed wire. Oh my, what is wrestling?
Not Tommy, no! Oh my God!
This was genuinely such a brilliant show and is probably one of my personal favourite pay-per-views of all time. It was also very, very hyped up because ECW was going to war with WWE at the time, so that would have been Raw and SmackDown. And the Raw and SmackDown Crusaders, as they call themselves, turned up the show to try act the bollocks. It didn't work out. There was a big brawl at the end. The ECW kicked their ass. Battle lines had been drawn. A year later, WWE held another event called ECW One Night Stand 2006, where ECW Crusaders went to battle with WWE Crusaders from Raw and SmackDown. This pay-per-view is probably most known for its main event, where John Cena defended his WWE Championship against ECW original Rob Van Dam. This match is well known because just listen to this reaction that John Cena got.
That's love. Playing with them right now. Just toilet paper now.
The show was so successful that WWE realised there is a demand for hardcore wrestling. ECW still does have a place in people's hearts, and if we do revive it, we can maybe build it up as another brand. So then, ECW got their own television show on Sci-Fi. You know, Sci-Fi? You know, when you think of wrestling, you think of the Sci-Fi channel. Better than nothing, I suppose. But anyway, there was a pay-per-view that they held during this time called ECW December to Dismember, and it is widely regarded by most wrestling fans as the worst pay-per-view ever. Vince McMahon stuck his nose where it shouldn't have been, and he absolutely ruined this show. I remember I watched ECW One Night Stand 2005 and 2006, and I loved both of them, and I decided ECW is really good. I want to get their next show, which was December to Dismember. This meant I have this on DVD. There's the front, there's the spine, there's the back, there's the inside. I had this on DVD. I paid money for this. I am so ashamed of myself. I want to give this away, but I don't like getting rid of my wrestling DVDs, and I don't want anyone else to pay for this, but if you do want, please let me know. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing why ECW December to Dismember was a complete flop, and we will also be reviewing what many people call the worst wrestling pay-per-view ever. So why was ECW December to Dismember a bag of arse? Well, WWE have what they call their big four pay-per-views, their biggest shows of the year. These shows are the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. SummerSlam goes before Survivor Series, excuse me. But these are the big 4 pay-per-views that WWE have. These are the most important pay-per-views in the whole WWE calendar. And by the time the ECW Dismember had happened, Survivor Series 2006 had happened very, very shortly beforehand. And this was before the network were filthy pirates trying to steal people's money. So if you wanted to watch this legally, you had to put down $60 for it. And because this was so soon after Survivor Series, a lot of the fans had bought Survivor Series or bought tickets to Survivor Series and therefore didn't have enough for this pay-per-view. Another thing that completely killed this pay-per-view was that it was barely promoted. No joke, going into this pay-per-view, 2 matches had been announced. 2! How were people supposed to care or know what was going to happen if you have 2 matches confirmed for a pay-per-view? Oh, Christ. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's just get into reviewing it. Jesus. First match on this show was the Hardy Boys, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, versus MNM. That's hard to say quick. Eminem. Johnny fuck's sake. Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury got it in the end. Now both these teams were very, very good in their time. You know, very good high flyers, quick, very fun to watch. And even though that they weren't ECW originals, they actually put on a really fun opener that I actually really enjoyed. There was a spot in the match where Nitro was on top of Mercury and then Jeff Hardy hit the Swanton Bomb and the match was over. A very fun opener, and if you enjoyed that, you want to lower your expectations because everything else on the show is abysmal. Next up, we had Matt Striker versus Balls Mahoney. Now, Matt Striker, his gimmick was he was the teacher. Do you want to know why it was his gimmick? Because he actually was a teacher, a former school teacher, and he was wrestling as well as being a teacher, and he didn't tell the school, so he ended up getting fired. And Balls Mahoney was one of the legends of ECW, one of the originals of ECW, known for hitting people in the head with a chair very, very, very hard. And Balls Mahoney actually passed away in 2016, I believe, so rest in peace to him. The match is, you know, Matt Striker comes out and says, Striker's rules, no swearing or something, I can't remember. Match is, you know, alright. Balls Mahoney has like this kind of rugged, kind of technical style, and Matt Striker has a more smoother technical style. It really did not work. Balls Mahoney hit a transitional move, which is like a move that's just used in a match. It's not supposed to be a finisher, but he hits it. Matt Striker does a kick out, and yeah, Balls Mahoney wins. Another fun fact, this match is most remembered because Matt Striker had his face on the arse crack of his ring trunks, and there's a crease on that, so whenever he'd walk, his arsehole would be engulfing his face. My god, what the hell is that? Next up was a tag team match, playa, as Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay took on the team of the FBI. Not the FBI you're thinking of, they were called the Fine Blooded Italians. They were around in the olden days of ECW and they were very fun. So naturally they got pretty much their asses handed to them. The crowd didn't like it. The problem with Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay was they were a good team. Like, they had decent charisma. Elijah Burke was the mouthpiece, Sylvester Terkay was the muscle. But the fans did not appreciate the fact that all these WB stars were going over these old ECW stars. Here's a fun fact. Balls Mahoney, the guy I was talking about before, was the only ECW original that actually won a match tonight. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Not a great match. FBI got their ass handed to them. Sad. Next up, we have one of the most beloved ECW wrestlers of all time, the heart and soul of ECW, the man who cares about ECW more than he cares about his damn family, Tommy Dreamer, taking on Tavari. Tommy Dreamer, as you can imagine, got a wonderful reception because he's Tommy Dreamer. So naturally, he lost. What? Why is this happening? The match was complete arse. Tavari was, you know, it was alright, like, he wasn't great. And there's a nasty spot at the end where the great Khali, you know, him, very big Punjabi man who could barely walk, powerbombed Tommy Dreamer on the steps and Tommy Dreamer sold it. It was nasty, it was horrible, and it just felt like a spit in the face to Tommy Dreamer. Next up, we got a mixed tag. Kevin Thorne and Ariel, who were vampires, because apparently this is what wrestling fans want on Sci-Fi, never mind, taking on Mike Knox and Kelly Kelly. Now, Mike Knox was a big man with fantastic theme music. Listen, I'll see if I can play a bit for you now. And that was it. That was all he brought to the table. And Kelly Kelly was a very attractive young lady. In fact, she was one of my early wrestling crushes, as a matter of fact. So, Kelly Kelly, if you're watching this, hello. In this storyline, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Why? I don't know. But Kelly Kelly fancied CM Punk. Why? I don't know. This match was not very good. Kevin Thorne and Mike Knox kind of plodded around. The crowd went crazy for the match, not because the action was good, but because they got to see Ariel's arse, which I'm not going to show because I'll get demonetized. It's so bad. They're seeing someone's arse, and this is why the fans been popped. Like, oh my god, this pay-per-view is so bad. And then Kelly Kelly gets a bit scared, goes in, screams, gets beaten up in 2 seconds, and takes the pin. What a waste of my time. And finally, it is main event time. The match that had the most hype. The match that everyone was looking forward to. And it was the Extreme Elimination Chamber. The champion at the time going into this was Big Show. You look at Big Show. Do you think he's suited to the ECW lifestyle? Chairs and tables and barbed wire and thumbtacks and stuff like that? No. Of course he wouldn't. Then there was CM Punk. We all know what happened to CM Punk. Went on to greener pastures in WWE, became one of my favourites. Then he went to UFC, pretty much got violated by a man called Michael Jackson. Not that Michael Jackson, another Michael Jackson, and Mickey Gall. Sabu, who is an ECW legend, literally, he kills himself to beat you. One of my favourites, always very, very good at flying, so this environment would have suited him perfectly, right? Rob Van Dam, as we talked about him before, Mr. Monday Night, the whole effing show, beloved by the ECW fans, an ECW original, and to be honest, the person that everyone wanted to win in this match the most. Bobby Lashley. And I would tell you some stuff about Bobby Lashley. Like right now, in the year 2021, he is currently the WWE champion, doing the work of his career, and is currently set to challenge Drew McIntyre. Not challenge Drew McIntyre, defend the title against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. So life is going good from now, but back then he wasn't so great. I think Adam Blampied described him better than I ever could.
Bobby Lashley, who was John Cena without the personality and the most obvious WWE guy on the card.
And then Test, a very big man who had a very good big boot, but that was about it. I don't know why he was in this match. So the 3 most popular guys in this match were CM Punk, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam. Okay, good. Remember how I told you how suited Sabu would be to this environment? I mean, look at some of the stuff that he's done. So naturally he was kayfabe injured backstage and replaced by Hardcore Holly, who has as much charisma as this empty tube of extra chewing gum. So by the time this main event was finalised, 1 man from the original ECW was in it, and it was Rob Van Dam. Oh dear, this match is a failure, and it hasn't even happened yet. If Paul Heyman could book this match and have the people he wanted in it, then it had all the potential to be great. I mean, it was the big Elimination Chamber structure, but the only real difference was every chamber pod had a weapon. So one had a chair, another one had an 8x10 wrapped in barbed wire. Oh my. Remember I was telling you about how popular CM Punk was? He was eliminated. First. He was the first man eliminated. Oh Jesus Christ. Then the charismatic enigma Bob Holly was eliminated, but it was botched, which means messed up. So fans are getting very angry, and their anger is rising and rising and rising and rising. And then Test does a really cool dive where he puts a chair on Rob Van Dam and then climbs on top of one of the chamber pods and does a massive elbow drop off of it. Oh wow, what a great spot by Test, but that's not going to be it, surely. Rob Van Dam's going to... Oh, Rob Van Dam's being eliminated. Oh dear, the last 3 men are Test, Big Show and Bobby Lashley. This pay-per-view is broken. Then Test is eliminated, and then finally Big Show's eliminated, which means Bobby Lashley is your brand new ECW champion. This was absolutely horrendous. After that, ECW became just another brand in 2010. All the extreme rule stuff, all the stuff that made it beloved was gone, and it was a subpar wrestling promotion. And then it eventually got scrapped in 2010, 2011. So, ECW December to Dismember, one of the worst pay-per-views ever. But how bad really were the matches? To do that, we have to consult the Wrestling Observer newsletter. These are the match star ratings that Dave Meltzer, the head of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, gave to all the matches on the card. And to be honest, I think it's pretty accurate. I think it is very, very accurate. This is supposed to be the revival of ECW, and all thanks to Vince McMahon, it was just their funeral. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is all I have for you today. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you enjoyed the video, and also just to have the chat, because I think that is beneficial. Remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Take care, keep the faith, God bless.